Hello everyone, this is Mr. Seymour, and in week 3 of our journey through the federal government, we will be examining the topic of federalism. Chapter 3 in your Abernathy textbook is titled Federalism, the Changing Boundaries Between the Nation and the States. And your author uses this subtitle in order to prepare you for the basic understanding that federalism requires a constant balance of powers between those of a central government and those of the states. Like any precarious balancing act, there is a constant conflict and fluctuation between each of the two competing sides, which in this case are state powers on one side and federal powers on the other. This chapter begins with a discussion of Ms. Raish, a user of medical marijuana for chronic pain, who was caught in a battle between her state government and the federal government over the legality of medical marijuana for medicinal use. As with many states today, the state of California had declared the growth and use of marijuana for medical purposes as legal, but the federal government has never legalized the growing, possession, or use of marijuana in any amount for any purpose as legal under federal law. In this case, which reached the Supreme Court in 2004 as the case of Gonzalez versus Reich, the court ultimately ruled the federal law was supreme. In this instance, the system of federalism used in the United States, where power is shared between the federal government and the states, is one of constant conflict, as each level of government interacts regularly and the lines of authority are often blurry. The government established at the Constitutional Convention divided power between the federal government and the states, or local governments, which are the creation of the states. This division, which was unique to the new country at the time, placed the American government somewhere between a unitary system, where the dominant power is national, and a confederal system, where the dominant power is the state. The precise division of authority is not clearly stated in the Constitution, but the national government was given an influx of new powers relative to the Articles of Confederation. With the Commerce Clause, the Supremacy Clause, and the Necessary and Proper Clause, all giving the government new powers, the federal government. The court was a major agent in expanding federal power in early parts of the 19th century by giving the federal government control over most areas of economic regulation. In the latter part of that century, the dominant view of federalism would come to be called dual federalism, a conservative arrangement where both the state and national governments have distinct spheres of influence that do not overlap. This view of federalism would largely die out with the New Deal in the 1930s and the rise of cooperative federalism, where state and national power would be more generally shared. Through the extensive use of grants, federal power has increased from the Johnson administration till today. Although, starting with Nixon and then continuing with Reagan, there was some resurgence of state authority. Your chapter objectives for this week are to explain the tension in American federalism between state and federal laws, highlighted by the issue of legalized marijuana, to identify the elements of the United States Constitution that shape American federalism, to describe the development of American federalism from the founding until the New Deal, to examine the role that the New Deal played in fundamentally reshaping American federalism, and to discuss changes to American federalism in the modern era and how that might continue to evolve. This is an issue that is central to our governmental debate today, as you will see as we go through this chapter. One thing I do want to remind you of, this is the third week, so this week you will be doing your first position paper. Just to remind you of what you're going to do, in the Chapter 3 option from your Blackboard. You're going to go there into week 3, and you're going to see a video which will walk you through exactly how to do a position paper. But what I want you to understand is that this is about taking a side. So please do not put in your position paper, well, I'm on both sides of the fence. No, you got to take a side. And the idea here is that you're going to outline the position that you have chosen, why you have chosen that position. You're going to outline anything from the documents that support your position in your own words, please. You'll also outline any contrasting statements from the documents that would go against your position, and then you're going to restate your position and tell me why your position is correct. That is how you do a position paper. So it's basically a debate. You will take a look at both sides of an argument, maybe do a little bit of research on your own as well. And in this case, your first research project for position paper has to do with No Child Left Behind and the issue of schools and how much power that the federal government has in overseeing school districts, which are really, in tradition, at the most local level of governments. That's the way they were designed. But I want you to also think about some examples out there. I mean, they're happening every day. We're in such a state of fluctuation and such a dynamic state of change right now, and debate in our government. But take a look at things like whether or not the federal government can require schools to open up at the district level, or can the federal government tell the states, we're going to withhold money from you if you don't quash any protesters, which is exactly what's happening right now. That's being threatened. Those are all issues of federalism. How much power does the federal government have? Through the Constitution and then through the use of these grants. It's all about money. Follow the money. Okay, I think I've gone over everything that you need to for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to message me and email me, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Don't forget to do your discussion question for this week, and don't forget to do your position paper. Okay, have a good one.